Coast or the West Coast. My name is Maggie Hammett, and I'm with Stuckey & Company, and I'm going to be holding the webinar today and doing the presentation. I hope everyone is doing really well. Thank you for joining Stuckey & Company, and we're going to talk about how to specialize in insuring technology companies. I noticed that there are a lot of people signed up for the webinar, and we work with you on a day-to-day basis, and I appreciate that, and I want to say thank you for your business and your continued support. It really means a lot to us here at Stuckey & Company. And then I've noticed that there are a few other agencies and new agents that I don't recognize, so I want to welcome you to the Stuckey & Company broadcast, and we look forward to doing business with you. A few things before we begin. I want to let you know that at the end of this presentation, we will email you the PowerPoint slides, and we will also provide a link for the recording, so at any time you can go back and listen, or if you just so happen to miss part of the webinar, you'll have the opportunity to review it at a later date. And then, of course, we're going to make sure that we answer every question during the session or after the webinar via phone or email, should we run out of time, or should you think of something after the fact and need to contact one of us here. We'll be more than happy to discuss the webinar or particular questions you might have. So let's go ahead and begin. Let's review this before we start. I wanted to let you know some of the products that we offer. Stuckey & Company programs include the Safety Tech, which is professional liability for the tech companies. We have a Harbor Guard program that is tailored to marinas and boat dealers. We have Aspire A&E, which is for architects and engineers. And then we have an NPL program for professional services. This particular program has over 300 classes, accounting, agents, E&O, basically anything that is non-tech related, we could offer on an NPL form. We also have Servicer Pro, which is for appliance repairmen or repair services. We have Element, which is for the green energy industry. And of course, personal lines, home, auto, boat, campers, etc. And then commercial lines, BOP, comp, workers' comp, auto, bonds. And then we do have a couple new programs that are not listed here, but we've started up an endurance program, which is a surplus lines market, and it's more for the hard-to-place commercial lines accounts. And then Dwight Stuckey has also created Mobile Rhino, a mobile app for iPads, iPhones, iProducts, and this is insurance for your lifeline. And in the future, the Mobile Rhino will include Android as well. Some items we will cover while teaching you about insuring technology companies are clarifying who is considered a technology company. We'll talk about how large is the technology industry, and this gives you an idea of the potential business that's out there. We'll discuss what coverages are required, and then we'll talk about how to get the conversation started with your client. And then at the end of the webinar, we will allow time for any questions that you may have regarding the presentation or questions that you may think of that you want to ask your client or discuss with us before you ask your client, and we can give you some ideas and tips. First, I'd like to give you our background, Stuckey & Company's history. What makes us experts on insuring technology companies? Stuckey & Company has over 18 years of underwriting technology professionals. I personally began working for Stuckey & Company back in 2000. While we have multiple underwriters here that are experienced in all aspects of professional risks, My only focus has been on the technology industry, specializing in professional liability coverage. And with that, we realize some firms may actually offer more than simply technology services. As underwriters, we're required to review contracts and get a better understanding and be sure we can help your client be compliant with the insurance requirements in that contract. Later in the slides, I will give you a sample contract, which is very basic as to what most contracts outline. And then we have worked very hard to become the managing general agent for one of our ACE technology products, which has allowed us to obtain in-house authority for $25 million in revenue and the high limits of $5 million, $5 million. This allows us to offer great service to your agency and to your clients, usually 24 to 48-hour turnaround time on all of your requests. So let's talk about who is considered a technology company. Today's businesses, small and large, rely on technology. Technology drives or defines our business models, so it's very important that it works well. We all know how good technology can be, but we also know how bad it can be if it doesn't work properly. Above are examples of companies that would need technology E&O coverage. A company that is selling a technology product, providing a technology service, deploys technology for others, and companies that are teaching technology. Let's review what carriers consider a technology service. Covered technology services should include, and our form includes, and defines it as IT project management and consulting, information systems, network design and services, database design, including data services, system outsourcing, information technology training and education, website design and hosting, the telecommunication services and network services, including the network security and network analysis. This in itself is a big market, the network security side, as we have all seen with the most recent public breaches that are occurring. ACE's form does include a privacy breach extension, which is a big bonus to your clients. And something new to the technology industry is cloud services, which can be related to software as a service or record retrieval. We can also write internet service providers, which I believe some of the other carriers are not interested in that type of service. So let's talk about covered technology products. We need to be sure that we cover the products your clients use while rendering technology services to their clients. And this includes design, development, the manufacturing, distribution, licensing, leasing, the sale, installation, repair, and maintenance. And then there's a few items listed like circuit boards, computer chips, memory chips. These products are used in our everyday lives. For example, some of these products are used in vending machines and medical instruments. What is listed here on the slide just gives you an idea of the broad spectrum and how technology products can be used in many different ways. So exactly how large is the technology industry? Some of these numbers are astonishing. There are almost 109,000 technology companies out there. This industry is ever growing by leaps and bounds. How many of you have smartphones? Just look at the number of mobile apps that have been developed. From 15,000 back in 2009 to 1 million in 2014. Listed are a few examples of the market size. Internet access is an $80 billion industry. Wireless system in cars, which I'm sure will grow from the 2.5 billion it is today. As mentioned, cloud computing is booming at currently 19.4 billion. 3D printing is 500 million from 2012 to 35 billion projected in 2022. Instructional market is a $73 billion industry, and that was back in 2012. And then you have bioinformatics, which is wearable medical devices. And a couple of years back, they were at 2.3 billion. And bioinformatics includes things like Fitbit and the upcoming product iWatch. And they are projecting 9 billion in 2018. This just shows you how many opportunities are out there to market to. And I'm sure at our day and age, most of us are, mid-20s, 30s, even 40s. You can see just in our era the ever-growing technology that we've used from, back to the 80s to the present day. Let's review what coverages are required for a technology company. A few things determine this, and this may vary by what the insured needs for their own peace of mind, or if they have a contract that requires them to carry certain coverages. Contractual requirements will not only list what type of coverages they need, as seen here. It shows professional liability, general liability, which can include hired and non-owned autos, cyber liability, which is a term that we hear a lot recently. Sometimes the contracts require their clients to be listed as additional insurers on their coverages. And at times it will also require them to carry an umbrella. Contracts not only tell the insured what they need, but will also advise certain limits to be carried. The next slide is going to be a sample I mentioned earlier in the webinar I wanted to share with you. This is just a quick little cut and paste. Gives you an idea, and this one shows you the type of insurance that they need and the specific coverages, and then also includes limits. This is your typical layout of most contracts. It's best to review your client's contracts to help sort out what is needed. And of course, if you're ever in doubt, you can always ask an underwriter to review it as well. We help our agents understand these requirements all the time. You're looking specifically for the section of the contract that states insurance requirements. And in this sample, again, it shows you both the coverage that's required and the limits that they need in order to complete a job or even be able to start a project or a job. Many times we have agents that contact us where they need coverage that day because their client is actually waiting on the job site to start, and of course can't begin until they get a certificate of insurance. And that's why it's awesome to have in-house authority where we can give you those certificates or issue a policy if need be within the same day. Sometimes within a couple hours we can get that squared away for you. Now, how to get the conversation started with your clients. Listed are some questions to ask. What do you do for your clients? And this is in reference to the previous slide where it was listing technology services. What industry does your client serve? Which we're interested in, is it the medical industry? Is it the government industry? And not that any of those would ever be a declination, but it does give us a better feel for what their services are and what the end use of their service may be. How much do they do? So this would be their revenue size. How do you do the service for your clients? And what type of claims are you concerned about? The last question is a very good question. What type of claims are you concerned about? If your client does not have a contract that specifies what's needed, this will lead you into the type of coverage your client is looking for and help you understand what your client does and any concerns that they may have regarding insurance or what they need. And it also helps us as underwriters look at their services and what type of either endorsements or make sure what their concerns are addressed in all of our policy form language. Since I deal directly with technology E&O, I just wanted to share with you what our E&O products offered as a standard coverage. Of course, the main technology E&O form, and then we also throw in some extra perks. We have electronic media, which deals with development of websites, the content that your client may create for their clients. We also have network operations security. And then we have an endorsement called Safety Tech Endorsement, which offers expanded cover services, and it includes IT staffing, management consulting, telecommunication services, and then it goes on to also include innocent insured, contractual liability, which also a lot is required in the contracts, defense outside the limits, first dollar defense, and of course we'll have future webinars to help explain each one of these coverage forms listed above in greater detail. And I really hope that you will find the time to join us as we go through the year and introduce more webinars with greater detail as far as coverages. Today we just wanted to get you started on how to begin talking to your clients about what they need. Let's see, one of our last screens here is our contact information, phone numbers with our extensions and emails. Before we go ahead and switch over to questions, I want to thank each and every one of you for attending the webinar, and I hope this gives you the knowledge to begin insuring technology companies. We want to make you an expert. Feel free to contact us anytime. Our job is to get you a quote as quickly as possible and answer any questions that you may have regarding a contract or insurance coverages. So now we will turn it over and open it up to see if there's any questions. I believe you may have a chat bar on your right-hand side. Let's see if I've got any questions. And of course, we're going to give you a copy of these slides along with a link that will provide you with the recording. So again, you can go back and listen to it anytime, or if you have certain questions that you would like to discuss with myself. I also have Sandy who helps me out, so if maybe I'm not available, she should be here as well. And then ultimately, of course, if it's urgent and we may be in a meeting or have something else that we're working on, you can always feel free to call Dwight. Okay, I do have a question here. Bear with me, it's kind of hard to really read. I saw what is the minimum premium was one of the questions. And our minimum premiums can start as low as around $630, $650, and that is for the lower limits. We do offer 300,000 limits. Again, we go up to 5 million. If you're looking for 1 million limits, I'm going to say that's around $750 to $1,000, depending on the state and, of course, their services. What other? Well, thank you, Sandy. She can read that much better than I can. So we have someone asking what other relationships do we have with carriers, or what other carriers? Sorry, I said that backwards. Do we have relationships with? We do have the Hartford. We do have Travelers, we have CNA, we have Beasley, we do have Philadelphia, and there might be a few in there I'm forgetting. Like I said, I mostly deal with the Tech E&O, and I will tell you ACE has been the best price and the broadest coverage, but we definitely get quotes from the Hartford. I know they have a few that's Giga, Mega, and Terra, so it's going to depend on what type of coverages you're looking for when we shop other carriers. CNA is also a great carrier along with Beasley. You know, all of them are great and have their own specific forms that are tailored to whatever the insured may need. Let's see if we have any more. Okay, one of the other questions is, what do brokers need to provide us with? Actually, right up front, send us an application. It can be a competitor's application. Sometimes we even quote off a court app. As long as we can get a feel of their revenue, maybe a website, a quick business description, we can even offer an indication just based on a conversation. There are no minimum book of business to do business with Stuckey and Company. So if you write one account with us, we're happy to deal with you on one account, and hopefully we service that account for you and give the coverage that you need so that maybe we could do future business with you. But there are no minimum requirements. They do ask for a broker agreement and, of course, copy of the licensing, etc. If we have any other questions. Okay. Okay, I see in there, what's our appetite for new ventures? Good question. Some of our carriers will not write companies unless they've been in business and have experience. We actually can write new startup companies. Even if they've been in a business 1 year, maybe they only have the first year of experience, it's not a problem. I will say those, we typically offer the 1 million limits, of course, unless it's a contract requirement, which we do see many times, where even new ventures are required to carry 5 million limits because they maybe are partnering with Microsoft or other larger companies that just, even to get on a list to be considered to work with larger companies, we understand that as well. That is something that we can do too, is the higher limits for new ventures. It's not a problem, as long as it makes sense. Do we have any more questions? All right, I'm trying to go through some of these questions. They're very hard to read. And I see someone missed the introduction. Again, I mentioned we will give you a copy of these slides. And then if I haven't got to any of the questions that you may have, please either pick up the phone, give me a call as soon as this webinar is over, or shoot me a quick email, and I'll be able to answer your questions. I will say I've just got a very small window here to read and the questions, and they're all kind of running on together. So it looks like I may have answered them all, but again, if you have questions, feel free to pick up the phone, give me a call. I can provide you a copy of any form, a sample copy of any form that we offer from Hartford, ACE, you know, any of our carriers, if you'd like to review those or discuss any one of those with me. So I don't see too many other questions. It looks like I have introduced or answered all the questions. So I'm going to go ahead and close for now. And again, if you want to contact me or give me a call, I'll be happy to talk to you this afternoon. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope this gave you a little bit of information to go out and start pursuing these technology industry and your technology clients. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.